We have major breaking news. The Trump administration is enacting the State Secrets Act, or privilege. What all is the State Secrets privilege? To sum it up for you guys, to sum it up for you guys, is pretty much a privilege that should not exist. Frankly, at all, and I hate to admit it, but this is stupid that it exists. What it is it's pretty much a privilege for the government to enact. If they do not want to obey federal courts in the Tren De Aragua and deportations fight of 5 Venezuelan immigrants. Now, what this means is that Judge Boasberg, Boasberg, will have to decide whether this is constitutional and if this applies. If that is the case, then it will more than likely head to the DC Circuit for further review, and after that, head to the Supreme Court for review if they do not rule that it is right of Donald Trump and his administration to enact this. What all does that reporting detail? Well, let's take a look at this new reporting. This new reporting, ladies and gentlemen, is by CBS News. The article is titled, Trump Administration Invokes State Secrets Privilege in Deportation Case. Ladies and gentlemen, and that article begins. The Trump administration invoked a state secrets privilege Monday and refused to give a federal judge any additional information about the deportation of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador under war authorities. U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, Boasberg, is weighing whether the government defied his order to turn around planes carrying migrants after he blocked deportations of people alleged to be gang members without due process. It's a case that has become a flashpoint in the rising tension between the administration and the federal courts. Boasberg, again Boasberg, the Chief Justice of the Federal District Courts in Washington has asked for details about when the planes landed and who was on board. Information that the Trump administration asserts would harm diplomatic and national security concerns. Government attorneys also asked an appeals court on Monday to lift Boasberg's BOASBERG's order and allow deportations to continue, a push that appeared to divide the judges. Circuit Court Judge Patricia Miller said Nazis detained in the U.S. during World War II received better legal treatment than Venezuelan immigrants who were deported to El Salvador this month under the same statute. We certainly dispute the Nazi analogy, Justice Department Attorney Drew Ensign responded during a hearing of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. Millett is one of 3 appellate judges who will decide whether to lift a March 15 order temporarily prohibiting deportations under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. They didn't roll from the bench Monday. Judge Austin Walker, who also sits on the appeals court, appeared open to the administration's argument that the migrants should be challenging their detention in Texas rather than the nation's capital. The third judge on the panel didn't ask any questions. The administration has transferred hundreds of Venezuelan immigrants to El Salvador, invoking the Alien Enemies Act for the first time since World War II. Also, on Monday, attorneys representing the Venezuelan government filed a legal action in El Salvador to free 238 Venezuelans who are being held in a Salvadoran maximum security prison after the U.S. Deported them. President Trump's administration appealed after Judge Boasberg, my editorial's note, blocked those deportations and ordered plane loads of Venezuelan immigrants to return to the United States. That did not happen. The Alien Enemies Act allows non-citizens to be deported without the opportunity to go before an immigration or federal court judge. Trump issued a proclamation calling it the Tren De Aragua gang invading force. Ensign argued that Boasberg's BOASBERGS ruling was an unprecedented and enormous intrusion upon the powers of the executive branch. The president has to comply with the Constitution and the laws like anyone else, Miller said in my editorial edition, who was nominated by Democratic President Barack Obama in 2013. Judge Justin Walker, who Trump nominated in 2020, seemed to be more receptive to the administration's arguments based on his line of questioning. Walker appointed to the government's arguments that the plaintiffs should have filed their lawsuit in Texas, where the immigrants were detained. Quote, "You could have filed the exact same complaint you filed here in Texas District Court," Walker told the American Civil Liberties Union attorney Lee Gallant. "We have no idea if everyone is in Texas," Gallant said. Walker also pressed the plaintiff's lawyer to cite any prior case in which a judicial order blocking a national security operation with foreign implications survived appellate review. Gallant accused the administration of trying to use the law to short-circuit immigration proceedings. Plaintiffs' attorneys had no way to individually challenge all the deportations before plane loads of Venezuelans took off on March 15, he added. "This has all been done in secret," Gallant said. Judge Karen Leecraft Henderson, who was nominated by Republican President George H.W. Bush in 1990, was a third judge on the panel. She didn't ask any questions during a hearing that lasted roughly 2 hours. Boasberg, Boasberg, an Obama nominee, ruled that immigrants facing deportation must get an opportunity to challenge their designations as alleged gang members. He said there is a strong public interest in preventing the mistaken deportation of people based on categories they have no right to challenge. The public also challenged a significant stake in the government's compliance with the law, Judge Boasberg wrote my editorial edition. Mr. Trump and his allies have called for impeaching Boasberg. In a rare statement, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts said impeaching is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. Just after midnight Monday, Trump posted a social media message questioning Boasberg's impartiality and calling for him to be disbarred. During a hearing Friday, Boasberg vowed to determine whether the government defied his oral order from the bench to turn planes around. The Justice Department has said that the judge's oral directions did not count, that only his written order needed to be followed, and that it couldn't apply to flights that had already left the U.S. Boasberg gave the plaintiffs until March 31st to respond. Well, ladies and gentlemen, looks like that's gonna do it for today's legal breaking reporting. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting, excuse me. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And if you would like to make sure that you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting that I post once, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, or even once a day onto the channel, please hit that bell icon. It does not cost anything. It's located directly below the screen here on the right hand side of the subscribe button. Another way you guys can also make sure that you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting is by following me on my social medias. That will be linked down below as well, along with a very important vital news article. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please do help me reach the overall channel goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach the goal of 150 subscribers. Honestly, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, my opinion is that Donald Trump and his illegal administration are completely nuts. Completely nuts whatsoever. They are illegal. They are criminals. They're crooked. They're corrupt. Especially Donald Trump himself. That's why I'm calling on Chief Justice John Roberts to go to the United States Marshal Services and put an arrest warrant out for his arrest, as well as J.D. Vance's and Pete Hegseth's arrest. Because what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, is simply illegal, flat out, and especially what Pete Hegseth did by leaking classified information, which goes against the Constitution, and it is a direct assault on the rule of law, and the Constitution is blatantly illegal. Ladies and gentlemen, until my next reporting, please stay safe, please stay positive, and know that justice will prevail despite Donald Trump and his administration's illegal illegal efforts and unconstitutional orders. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we have criminals occupying the White House that do not deserve to be there, and I really wish Chief Justice John Roberts would have said hell no to Donald Trump or his administration occupying the White House.